Paducah, Texas. This is Pruitt, part of the Robertson Pruitt team from the Defiance Daily Show podcast, broadcast live every Friday at 11 a.m. Central, live on Rumble. Hey, real quick, thoughts from the trail. Wanted to share some thoughts, some reflections. Tennessee has been in the news this week. Supreme Court rulings, the whole transgender, dysphoria, child mutilation. If you don't know, just look it up. I'm not going to go into the details. And, it's funny to listen to the pundits, listen to public reaction. Big victory for the right, big victory for the conservatives. And it just made me think how far we've fallen, how far we've slipped. I don't, obviously, yes, technically, it is a victory for the right, for the conservatives, for family values, for America. Yes, I see. It is a victory. However, the communists are winning. What is something like this even doing in the Supreme Court? Because now this whole transgender, homosexual, pride flag, LGBTQRS, it's part of our culture. Now we're fighting over it back and forth, but it is part of the American culture. It's terms we all know. It's talked about in our public schools. It's on TV commercials, television, movies. It's part of our culture. And the most that we can hope for now is that we occasionally win some battle in a courtroom somewhere to stem the tide, to put another Band-Aid or tourniquet. But at the end of the day, this is now part of America. And it makes me hearken back. Let's use a little old King James. Is that King James English? It sounds cool anyway. But it makes me think of John Adams and his famous quote, "Our Constitution was made only for a moral and religious people. It is wholly inadequate to the government of any other." Let me break this down for you. And anybody should understand what he's saying, but a lot of people don't. Number one, when people like John Adams, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and I get it, no need, we're not going to go in, well, then, Thomas Jefferson was a deist. Okay, let's just set that over to the side. John Adams wasn't. John Adams was a Christian, okay? And whenever the founders talked about religion, let's make one thing clear. They were talking about Christianity in general, almost 100% of the time. That's what they were referring to. And what John Adams was talking about in that famous quote is exactly what we're experiencing today. You see, a moral and religious people would never allow the roots, the seed. They would never allow homosexual, pride, LGBT. That would have never been tolerated, ever. Now, you can take what you want to mean about, well, what do you mean wouldn't be tolerated? You can read into that whatever you want to. I am just telling you. And for the first 150 years, 175 years of American history, I don't know, when did the homosexual movement was all, the seeds, the origin of that was the feminist movement. That's where that all started. Yeah, I know, some of y'all probably didn't know that, but trust me. The feminist movement was the cracked door. It was the camel's nose under the tent. The feminist movement was the entree of the whole homosexual liberation, what has got us now to child mutilation, transgender, and all this stuff. That's where it all was. That was the intent. That's where it was going. That's how they did it. A moral and religious people, a Christian people, would never allow that to happen because it is antithetical to Christianity, is antithetical to the Bible, and it's extremely, as we now know, incredibly destructive to any culture. We've allowed it. We, the people, have allowed it. One of my favorite parts of the Declaration of Independence And everybody can recite it. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is also probably one of the most misunderstood parts. It is probably one of the most misunderstood parts of the Declaration of Independence. You ask the average Republican, the average quote-unquote conservative individual voter. Let's narrow it down, because I'm all about keeping our own house clean. What the commies do, what the rhinos do, that's on them. That has to be addressed in a completely different way. We cannot fix them. We cannot change them. They are evil. They are the enemy, and the reality is they have to be dealt with. We're not talking about that. Let's clean up our house. I'm talking about quote-unquote conservatives, Republicans, MAGA, whatever you mean by that. The vast majority of our house does not even know what the phrase life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness actually means. When Thomas Jefferson put that in the Declaration of Independence, it was a very specific meaning, and it was understood by all the signers, and because this is before public education. This is before public education dumbed everybody down. 12-year-olds, 8-year-olds knew what that phrase, how that was penned. They knew exactly what that meant. Specifically, pursuit of happiness. You ask the average Republican, MAGA, conservative Christian, our house, what we would consider, our peeps. What does that mean when Jefferson wrote pursuit of happiness? You're going to get all kinds of answers. You're going to get deer in the headlights looks. You'll be like, well, what do you mean? That's obvious. He just means we have the freedom to go do what we want to make us happy. Oh boy, here we go. I want to wrap this up pretty quickly. The meaning for the pursuit of happiness in the 1770s, and everybody knew it. Pursuit of happiness meant the pursuit of wisdom and virtue specifically. It had nothing to do with pleasure seeking, had nothing to do with making yourself happy, other than it was very well known amongst the population of the colonies. Remember, this is right after the Great Awakening, a quickening, a spiritual awakening in the colonies that fueled all this, fueled the revolution. People knew of that time, if you pursued wisdom and virtue, you would be happy. Not TikTok happy, not feminism happy, not I'm just trying to find myself in my own truth and I just want to be happy. No. Nothing like that. What it meant was, if you pursued virtue and wisdom, and that's what you spent your time doing, you would over time have an inner peace. Have this feeling of, and I hate to use, it's not feeling, but you would be fulfilled. You would be fulfilling a mission, a purpose, something, a light, a God-given, Christ-like light. You would feed that over time. Would you be perfect? Absolutely not. Would you make mistakes? Absolutely. Would you sin? Absolutely. Sorry, all men are horrible, fallen. No one is perfect. No one's close to even being good. But this is something that we strive for. This is something that a moral and religious people in general strive for. And it's within that culture that things like capitalism, free markets, the ability to raise up people, generations of people that are intelligent, smart, have high values on things like morality, virtue, the pursuit of wisdom. And when you have a culture like that, no, it's not perfect. There is no culture that's perfect. But what you will create in general for most people under most circumstances and conditions is a place where most people can absolutely better themselves, where there's some form of justice, where wrongs can be at least made right to the point where trespassers would be punished, people that are not good people could be, punished, They could be discouraged from doing bad things. You wouldn't have riots where cities are burnt down. All the things you're seeing today, all the degeneracy, the violence, our courts are done. There is no justice system in America. Everything is on its head, and it's simply because, what did de Tocqueville write about after he spent time in America, studying Americans? He said, America is great because Americans are good. And if Americans ever stop being good, America will no longer be great. And that's where I want to leave you today. That's Thoughts from the Trail with me, Pruitt, out here in Paducah, Texas, part of the Robertson Pruitt team at Defiance Daily Show podcast, broadcast live every Friday morning at 11 a.m. Central, live on Rumble. Come join us. We're going to be talking about topics like this. We have a lot of fun. There's humor, there's entertainment. We do some political commentary. Also, we love to talk about solutions. There's plenty of people out there. There's plenty of podcasts analyzing the news, talking about current events, giving their opinions, and that's all great. I love that. I listen to those. I listen to the Jesse Kellys and Clay and Bucks and Tucker Carlsons and Tim Pool and not that I'm a fanboy or agree with everything any of those people say. This is my thing. I like to pursue wisdom. We talk about a lot of that, but we also talk about solutions. Okay, Mark, we know what the problems are. What can we do? Well, tune into our podcast. We talk about that stuff too. But we also have a lot of fun. Travis is amazing. And anyway, hope you guys join us. God bless you. Listen, pursue wisdom. Pursue virtue. Open your Bible. Open your Bible. God bless everyone. Have a great day.